choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Look at that. That's beautiful. It's got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you.
This is FIDE World Cup 2013 coming from Tromsø, Norway. Beautiful place. This is a great tournament. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again with another great chess video for you. I normally say that at the beginning of all my videos, but I'll tell you what, this one's a great one. Kamsky, I'll even spoil it for you. This is how good of a game this is. Kamsky should get a Brillancy prize for this, if there was one in this tournament. This is the game of the entire World Cup. If there's a better game than this after this, it'll be amazing. Kamsky played the most beautiful game I have ever seen. Absolutely amazing. It's got a Kamsky as white, rated 2741 from the United States, and Mamedyarov rated 2775. I gotta tell you, I get on Kamsky sometimes, but this one, absolutely amazing. Let's start. Kamsky plays e4. It's going to be a Tamenov Sicilian. Knight f3, e6, d4, pawn takes, knight c6. We've all seen this a million times. Knight c3, queen c7, f4. I kind of like that myself. Of course, I'm kind of an aggressive player, but it's more fun. That's for certain. d6, bishop e3, knight f6. As normal in a Sicilian like this, black's behind in development, but it actually shows about a 3/4 pawn advantage for white, so you might as well say it's equal. Queen f3, get that queen right up there. a6, that's to stop any nonsense here with either one of these knights. Bishop d3, bishop e7. They both castle. Now this is a move I don't understand why he did it. Maybe that's why these guys are playing in the World Cup that I'm not. It's not even a computer suggestion, which I have running off screen. King to h1. Maybe it's a waiting move. Get your king a little safer at the same time. Wait to see what black's going to do before you proceed. Bishop d7. Rook 8 e1. b5. Seems like all logical stuff up until this point. It's about an even score. Tiny advantage for white. a3. Got to cover the b4 square. Rook a to b8. It seems like they're both waiting, like poised, to who's going to make the pawn break in the center first, or who's going to break first. White takes the knight, bishop takes. Nobody wants to make the break. Queen to h3. Now you're going to see the queen here and this rook are far from the king side. There's a lot of, with that f4 pawn going, about any rook lifts to bring it over to the king side. And on top of that, you have these two bishops bearing down. It's something to certainly consider. And the fact as well, not to have too many arrows here, but this pawn is going to be coming up. White certainly has an active position. Rook f to d8. Now, if rook b to d8, bishop d4, h6, rook d3, here comes the rook lift. After rook f to d8, bishop to d2. White's just getting ready to advance the e-pawn, e5. If he had went e5 instead, d takes, f takes, queen takes, bishop f4. And I kind of like white here, to be honest with you. After bishop d2, I promise you, fireworks are coming. This is a great game. Great game. I got to take my head off the Gata. d5. Finally we get a break. e5. Gata pushes right through. He's got to move the knight. Moves to e4. f5. Here it comes. Here comes the attack on the white king. Knight takes d2. Now you got to remember something here. Let's back up and move. White's bishop is sitting here for free. And actually the funny part is the computer also suggests f5. Sacrifice the bishop. Knight takes. F takes. Knight comes back. White is down a piece. Now instead of knight to e4, if black had, and it looks very tempting, knight takes the rook. Check out this. Queen takes check, king to f8, queen mates. Easy peasy, simple. No such thing as free. And the knight goes back to e4, pawn takes check. It gives a long scenario if move 20, white takes the knight. I'll go through some of it. D takes, pawn checks, king h8, rook e4, rook takes d3. With an advantage for black. Now remember now, black has two bishops for 3 pawns. After e takes f7 check, we know that the king can't come here or it's doomed. Queen takes with mate to follow. King has to go to h8. Now a decision. Remember now, it's 2 pawns for a bishop. Black's up in material. If this attack fizzles out, the game is over. Knight takes d5, sacrificing another piece. If knight had taken e4, d takes, rook takes, rook takes. We saw that earlier, basically the same scenario. After knight takes d5, what does black do? White's sacrificing another piece. Another piece. Now he's got 3 pawns for the bishop, so technically in material it's even. He took. Rook takes. Now he's sacrificing the exchange. If bishop had taken instead, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes c2, and white is busted. His attack is fizzling out, and now I have open files for black's pieces. What does, now he's offering the exchange. What does black do? G6, the only move you can think of. It's the only logical move. Black's in a tough spot. Even though technically right now, if you look, I'm looking at the computer off screen, believe it or not, with all this craziness going on, it's 0.00. Now I know it's a computer evaluation, they're human beings playing this. I just thought that was interesting. What to do, what to do. If he had bishop played, took the rook, bishop takes, bishop h4, queen takes, h6, e6. Look at these two pawns. Look at those two pawns. And you got this rook right behind it. Queen to c5, bishop d3, blocking that rook from coming in to help it all or to attack. Rook takes, gotta take it. C takes, king h7, e7, rook f8, e8 queen. Now believe it or not, the computer move is a5. You gotta be kidding me, right? Look at this. Queen e4 check, king to h8. See, if you noticed earlier, one of those pawns are going to queen. So the rook discards, the queen discards the rook. After king and h8, queen e6, h5, d4. It shows mate in 5 now. I'll go through it with you. Rook takes, queen checks, king h7, queen on h to e4 because there's two queens. Queen f5, rook takes, g6, rook takes check, king to g7, and the other queen mates. How crazy is that? Well, we had enough fun. Let's go back to the game. After g6, rook on e to f4. The pressure is on. This is what we talk about all the time. A lot of chess players, commentators on the internet and chess tournaments, players constantly talk about computer evaluations. Right now, technically, black has a tiny advantage. White has 3 pawns for a bishop. But I want you to put yourself in black's spot here. Honestly, the psychology of it. Your king's in the corner. You've got 2 pawns starting to bear down on here. You've got double rooks. The bishop is here and the queen is here. All of White's pieces are in play. This is what Gary Kasparov talks about in his videos. And look at black. These 2 rooks, as far as I'm concerned, are out of play currently. At least this one on b8 is totally out of play. Totally out of play. Look how safe White's king is. Granted, the bishop is bearing down on it. But as you're sitting here, who do you think is under the most pressure? Now the move should have been queen to c6. This is where the pressure gets to you. King to g7. Big mistake. Big mistake. After queen to c6, I think black might be able to recover this game. It's the pressure. This is why computer evaluations are worth a lot when you're going over games, but the people that are playing it are under this pressure. And when you go over your own games, don't be so hard on yourself like I am. Remember, it's you were there over the board. You have to find the move. You're not a machine. You're not perfect. Kamsky goes e6. Look at this. Now the pawns are connected. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Rook to f8. What else can he do? Queen to e3. Bishop c5, hitting the queen. Queen goes all the way back to e1. This is where the pressure and black stumbles again. This isn't why this is a brilliant game by Kamsky. It's the understanding that you create a position that's so difficult for your opponent that he miscues. So you say, well, Kamsky won because he miscued twice. No, he miscued twice because of what Kamsky did. And that's the difference that people need to understand. You put your opponent in such a complex position, and this is on move 26. I'm sure the time was getting low for black. I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure. And I remember I watched this game during the afternoon today. I watched it on DVR. I watched the entire thing, which is kind of neat because you can watch it just as if it was live, even though it's not live. Pretty cool stuff. Bishop d6. He probably should have played bishop e7. Then c4, b takes, queen checks, king to h6. That queen checks is incredibly important. Now you've got the rook coming over here, or pawns coming up. Black's in a lot of trouble. Rook to h4. Now the rook is on the h-file. This bishop didn't come over. Bishop to e7. I think a better move might have been rook to h8, queen to e3, h5. And look how black's queen is totally shut out of the game. A lot of defense of the king. Using those advanced pawns at e and the f-file to surround his king and keep his pieces from helping him. And look at the spaces these rooks can't go to. Rooks can't go here or here to help. Amazing stuff. Queen to e3. And then he goes h5. I kind of want to repeat what I said earlier. Chess is a game of calculation. There's no question. It's your mind and how it calculates and how it sees things. Also, too, it's a game of emotions. Pressure. Frustration. You're under the gun, either by time or your position. All those things play a factor. The moves are important. Interesting enough, if he, by the way, he offers another rook for free. If he had taken it, queen to d4 check, king to h6, queen takes, king to g7, queen to f6 check, king to h6, rook to f4, queen takes, has to, queen takes, king to g7, queen to e5 check, king, and the queen's just mopping up the board. Rook on b to d8, queen takes, rook takes, e7. Amazing. King to g7, e takes the rook, queen, king takes, queen to d7. You get the picture. I don't need to go through the rest of it. Well, actually, it's a nice mate, so I will. Queen to f6. By the way, the computer shows mate in 12 now. Queen takes, pawn, queen to g6, king, queen takes, king to d6, queen to f6 check, king to d5, c3, a5, queen to e7, b4, bishop check, king to c4, queen to e6, king to c5, and queen to c6 mate. After h5, I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to make this move right away. I want you to pause the video here and see what you would do if you were white. Remember that rook is hanging for free on h4. What would you do as white? Kamsky played queen to d4 check. King to h6. Now what would you do? Your rook is, you're going to lose the exchange. You can recapture with the queen, but there's a better move. What move is that? What did white do next? Rook takes h5 check. Another sacrifice. King takes. Give you the sequence here. Queen takes d5 check. King h6. And by the way, after rook takes h5 check, king takes h5, the game was over. Black resigned. I'm just going through what would have happened if he continued on. King to h6. Queen to e4. Threatened mate again. Rook to g8, only move. Do you take the rook and queen? Nope. You go to f3. Look at this. Look at this. Queen has to come in. Rook to h3 check. Bishop h4. Rook takes. King to g5. Look at that black king. Rook to h7. Queen to f4. Looks like black got out of the mate. Queen to d5 check. Not a chance. Queen to f5. Now watch this. Right out of the blue. h4 check. King has to come to f4. Queen to d4 check. King's got to come to g3. How crazy is this? Queen to e3 check. King has to go to g4. Look at that king all the way down the board. Bishop checks. Queen has to block. And you got two nice mates. You know, very rarely do you have two choices and both are mate in the same move. Queen here, mate. Or queen takes mate. How amazing is that? An amazing game. An incredible game. I think Kamsky deserves a Brillancy prize. Anyway, folks, that's the video for today. I really enjoyed showing it to you. Please go through it, pause the video, and please comment. And thank you for all my new subscribers that have come on the last couple of weeks. I appreciate it. And to all of you out there that haven't subscribed yet, please do. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.